I cannot afford Florida anymore. I just looked at my budget, and my electric bills have more than doubled in the course of 5 years. And also, my water bill has more than doubled. And not to mention the rates of my insurance, property taxes, yada, yada, yada. It's all just gone up and up and up.
As a native Floridian, I just need to come on here and say what the actual fuck is going on in the grocery world. I just went to Aldi. All of this, $120. $120, all of this. Publix, $50. Eggs, couple energy drinks, BOGO, and BOGO. What? And if you don't believe me, $120, $50. What is happening?
Everything is extremely high. Groceries, gas, housing, everything. I'm working 2 jobs and it's still barely scraping by.
It is rough right now, especially with the economy, with gas prices. Gotta work basically 2 jobs.
It's not hard to find people impacted by the cost of living here in Florida. You just heard from 2 people we happened across today that both say they're working 2 jobs to make ends meet.
2 jobs to get by. I mean, do you think that should be the normal?
Definitely not. I'm working more than I'm living, also going to school. Have no time to actually enjoy life.
The cost of living in Florida has accelerated at nearly 5 times the pace of the last decade. That's according to a new report from Florida Tax Watch, a nonpartisan, nonprofit government watchdog group. It's driven largely by housing, insurance, and rent increases that are outstripping wages.
Rent is definitely going up, and landlords, everybody, they don't want to hear anything because, they've got to take care of their families also.
But I've noticed my bills, water bill, electricity bill has gone up for sure.
Surprise, Florida just ranked as the second most financially distressed state in the entire country. Only where Texas is worse. It's not just an opinion. This comes straight from Google data. So what does financially distressed mean? It means more people are struggling to pay their bills, searching for payday loans, rent help, credit card relief, you name it. They are going to Google for help. And Floridians are struggling to survive here. And let's be real, it's not just hard to see why. Rents in Florida have skyrocketed. Groceries and insurance are completely out of control. Wages really haven't kept up. Families are working 2, sometimes 3 full-time jobs and still can't get ahead. Meanwhile, Florida politicians brag about cutting taxes for the wealthy and corporations while everyday people are drowning. And in Texas, where things are even worse, it's the same story. Leadership that ignores working class struggles while protecting big business. Now, this matters because these states are often held up by models of economic success. But the reality is people are just being left behind, and the data proves it. If the so-called Florida model is leaving people broke, maybe it's time we rethink what success really looks like.
Florida was supposed to be a place where young people could build a future, but right now, young people ages 20 to 29 are moving out of Florida because they can't afford to live there anymore, as the cost of housing, insurance, healthcare, and even groceries are out of control. So let's have a look and shout out to all my subscribers and channel members.
It doesn't really make any fucking sense. These rent prices in America really don't make any fucking sense. They're actually getting completely out of fucking control. On my way to pay my rent right now, which is $2,000 a motherfucking month for a fucking house in Florida. My sister lives in Alabama, and my daughter does as well. And their rent is less than my fucking half. The wages in Alabama and Florida ain't that goddamn different. So therefore, it doesn't make any fucking sense that I pay $2,000 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and my daughter lives in Alabama, and she has a fucking 4-bedroom, I think 2-bath, or maybe a bath and a half, and her rent, I think it's $9.50 a fucking month. This rent shit needs to get under fucking control in America. Because people are spending too much of their fucking income just to put a roof over their fucking head. Many people are only able to put a roof over their head, ain't able to put fucking food in their goddamn belly. You know, I honestly feel sorry, really sorry for the fucking single people. I feel sorry for the ones trying to do it on their own here in Florida. Because just for a 1-bedroom apartment, it's about $1,500 in Florida. But minimum wage is what? $8 or something? This is insane. 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 It really is insane. This rent is crazy. And people need to sit there and stop focusing on the White House and what's going on in DC and start focusing more with what's going on with their local fucking government. Since I was 19 years old, I have not missed a chance to vote. Never miss a chance to vote. And I wish more people would do the same and be more conscious about their fucking vote. Researching the fucking people they voting for. Because this is why we in the shit we in. If you look at your goddamn area, I bet you, when people got high ass rent at, you look at your area and it has been ran by a Republican. It has been ran by a fucking Republican. Your representative of a Republican in the fucking local government, in the district goddamn government, and in the state goddamn government. And they fucking us over.
Undocumented immigrants are here illegally. I don't care. Undocumented immigrants didn't raise the cost of living in the state of Florida 30% last year. Politicians did that. Undocumented immigrants are a drain on our social services. No, they're not. Because guess what? It was the politicians who actually cut $1 trillion from things like Medicaid with this big, beautiful bill. Undocumented immigrants not only can't use those, but they certainly couldn't vote on it. Undocumented immigrants are here illegally and they're breaking the law only because politicians haven't actually found a way to actually speed up the process for undocumented immigrants to become legal. You've created a system where undocumented immigrants could stay undocumented so that you could use their labor as a cheap source to be able to build this country, and now you're trying to punish them while you've been monopolizing off of their cheap labor for decades. Undocumented immigrants aren't the problem. The politicians and the government system is. Undocumented immigrants didn't create the problems. Politicians did.
So Senator Rick Scott is out here on social media talking about how Florida's unemployment rate is skyrocketing, how we're losing tens of thousands of jobs in the state in the most critical industries, and how we need to bring down the cost of living. But here's the problem. Rick Scott is talking about an affordability and cost of living crisis that he himself helped shape here in Florida. First as governor, and now as U.S. Senator. And he's acting as if he's just noticing all of these issues, right? Because I think I can speak for many Floridians when I say that the housing and rental crisis didn't happen overnight. Insurance rates didn't skyrocket overnight. The prices of groceries, of gas, the overall cost of living didn't become impossible overnight. Healthcare did not become unaffordable overnight in the state of Florida. These are issues that have been cooking and building over years and years and years, all while Rick Scott has held public office in the state of Florida. So when Rick Scott comes out and says, hey, we need to worry about unemployment skyrocketing in Florida, we need to worry about bringing down the cost of living, about the declining job market in Florida, I can't help but ask, what has Rick Scott done whatsoever to address any of those issues he's talking about, to make them any better during the time he's been a U.S. Senator representing the state of Florida? I'll wait. Anything? No. The answer is absolutely nothing. When it comes to healthcare, Rick Scott is notoriously known for voting to repeal the Affordable Care Act any chance he gets, despite the fact that Florida has the highest rate of people insured under the Affordable Care Act in the entire country, including places right here in Miami-Dade County, such as Hialeah and Doral, which are the two municipalities with the highest rate of people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. Rick Scott has also historically opposed the expansion of Medicare and Medicaid for millions of working families. Get this, he also opposes raising the federal minimum wage. But he wants to come tell you on social media, oh, The unemployment rate, we need to bring that back down. Let's get the cost of living down. There's a disconnect there, right? In a state like Florida, where the prices of rent, groceries, gas, insurance rates have all skyrocketed, our public officials should be voting for legislation that benefits working class families and their interests, not voting against them and saddling them with even more economic issues. Rick Scott has not proposed any legislation, has not voted in favor of absolutely anything to address any of the issues he wants to make you think as a Floridian that he cares about, when in reality, he couldn't care less.
Florida is becoming impossible to live in, and I swear it's being done on purpose. And they're especially making homeownership so difficult. With the interest rates being as high as they are, we are also battling insurance prices being sky high, and people are completely priced out of homes that they could have bought 2 years ago or even last year. I have a friend that's selling her home because her insurance has increased over $10,000 in 1 calendar year with absolutely no claims. Car insurance continues to be high, and that's coming from somebody with a perfect driving record, no accidents. For the months of January and February, my electricity bill was over $250 for a 1,000-square-foot condo, and I am not even running the heat when I'm not home. Even if you can't afford to buy a home, going into a rental is absolutely insane right now. I am currently looking for a new place to live. I pay $2,200 a month for that 1,000-square-foot condo, and my rent is increasing to $2,300 unless I find a new place. Insane. And unfortunately, I'm stuck because there's no options in my kids' school zone that is in my price point. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the job market. I don't know if all these businesses took out PPP loans and they're just posting jobs for the heck of it to get the government off of their back or what. But I think this job market, at least in my area, and I've even for shits and giggles applied to jobs that I am overqualified for or my qualifications exactly match in other areas, and I am just not hearing back. I apply for anywhere from 3 to 5 jobs per day, any pay range. I don't care. Any qualification, entry level. I will compete with anybody just to get myself into a stable position and get myself into the door. I do have a job. I am working retail right now, but it is not paying the bills, which really sucks because I do have a lot of fun at the job. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think the reason why Florida is so difficult to live in right now is because the way they handled COVID. And I'm not talking policies. I'm talking the powers that be. Because we were thriving during COVID. Everything was fine. Job market was great. Everything was just flowing as if nothing happened and the rest of the country is struggling. I don't know, man. I'm over it.
Florida has over 2 million empty homes, yet it's still one of the most unaffordable places to live. Let's make this make some sense. So let's break this down. There are over 2 million homes in Florida that are sitting unused, unoccupied. And yet the state is in a full-blown housing crisis. People can't find affordable housing. Houses just keeps going up like Beyonce's ticket prices. And the kicker? Insurance companies are raising premiums like it's a new hurricane every week, and it's nothing even going on right now. Yeah, we've had no new hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. In the Gulf of America, we've had nothing. So my question is, who is actually really benefiting in Florida from keeping those homes empty? Because somebody has to be benefiting from that. So they keep the homes empty and the rates high. Then who's really winning in that situation? Really? What's your thought? Why do you think they have so many homes sitting vacant in Florida and why their insurance rates are sky high? What do you think is really going on?
I thought homeownership was supposed to be the cure-all solution. You buy a property, you pay it off one day, and then you are just fancy living, here we come. But apparently, that's not the case, as I know many homeowners who bought in Florida who are being priced out, and they have like the neighborhood fees or the association fees. Those have gone up rampantly without any sort of guardrails, and people who bought houses are just being priced out because of that alone. Luckily, I don't have those, but even I'm still feeling the squeeze with everything going up in the budget, so I'm selling. I can't afford it. And to those saying renting's not much better, I don't know, like at least you have the mobility to leave. I guess, you know what I mean? The most frustrating thing to me is that we were all just promised this one thing when we all went to college to get the degree and we saved up all the money to make the down payment on the house, and that has not panned out. I'm not like some financial expert. I'm just some guy who just knows that his bills have gone up astronomically, and my baseline number for cost of living per month, even before groceries or like buying clothes, I know from firsthand lived experience that this situation here does not work for me financially. And when the only answer you can get as to why did my bills double in 5 years is just because, that doesn't really give me any comfort that it's gonna get better anytime soon. So I'm tapping out now while I still can, because I'm getting priced out of existence here in Florida. And that's that.
$17.33. That's how much I paid today for this coffee. I'm here and I'm just adding some numbers together and doing my budget, because you know what, today I asked my husband, where's the money? We're making the best we've ever made, both earners, both incomes, good incomes and everything, and we don't have money. We're living paycheck to paycheck basically. So I put the numbers together and I decided to look at my budget. On June the 2nd, 2023, and I'm going to try to insert somewhere here the photo I took a shot of, how much I paid for it. On June the 2nd, 2023, the same exact coffee was $9.92. It's almost doubled in 2 years. Of course, my salary hasn't doubled. My income has not doubled. It went up a little bit, but certainly nowhere near that. And I don't know where my money goes. Every month, I'm struggling.
If you are not struggling financially right now, then you need to consider yourself completely blessed. Like, don't even consider yourself. You are completely blessed. Like, every time I check my local mom group on Facebook, I see requests or people asking where they can get some financial assistance to pay utilities or assistance with rent. And it's concerning because these people are working full-time jobs and they just can't make things work right now. For example, this morning, a woman posted she's an RN working 2 jobs and still is struggling. I know we're all complaining about how expensive things are. For me, personally, like my car insurance doubled in August. I was paying around $140 a month, and now I'm paying $280 for 2 vehicles, and I'm one driver. And I have never had a claim. There was no reason for the increase other than they just increased me. On top of that, Florida Power and Light rules the entire state of Florida now. They bought out Gulf Power, and since then, all I ever hear about from people is how astronomical their utility bills are. Everyone is trying to find ways to save money. But as soon as we save money in one area, something else goes up. So it's just kind of like we're sliding this scale back and forth, and it's actually like increasing. We're never saving, no matter how hard we try. Like, I stopped eating out with my kids. Obviously, eating out is super expensive, but I went almost a month no eating out, and it was still a struggle. And if you made it this far, I don't mean this to be like a pity party thing. I'm figuring it out. But last Friday, my birthday, my boss cut my hours in half. So yeah, I guess this is also like a PSA to people who aren't struggling right now. Don't be tone deaf, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. If you start to notice behavior changes and lifestyle changes, I can promise you it's because people are being proactive or, I don't know, maybe reactive to their financial situation. It's just a mess.
Florida, what happened? Man, we used to have $1 McChickens. We had $5 actual footlongs. We used to have 24-hour Walmarts. You used to be able to fill up a tank of gas to $20. And it used to rain every time between like 2 and 5 p.m. during summer. And now we're just kind of just out here. So those are the things that I don't understand. Obviously, I know, 2020 did a toll on quite a few of those festivities that we had going on. But why can't they come back? I mean, I used to love the convenience of like finishing up my day, having like an idea, something going on, boom, Walmart, 2:30 in the morning. And then the people that were there, that's the other thing. Those were the fun ones. You used to be able to budget. go out and go get an actual sandwich, a soda, and some chips for like $8.75 from Subway. Not anymore, man. And then, obviously with weather, I don't even know what to even really say about weather anymore. Clearly, I report it. I try to have a comedic spin on certain things, but we got to bring it back a little bit. And let's add rent. Let's add that to Florida. Rent should be like $750 for like a 2-bedroom apartment. Mortgage should be like $1,200 a month for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So whatever we got going on in this world, I think we need to hit the Uno reverse card and bring it back about 20 years.
Florida affordability crisis. After 7.5 years of being controlled by the Republicans, Governor DeSantis is finally trying to come up with something to solve the affordability issue in Florida. He's come up with a way to cut our local property taxes, not funding our local government, be it for schools, be it for police, be it for fire, be it for other services that we need. His plan is short-sighted. His plan doesn't solve problems, and it's taken him 7.5 years to even begin to solve problems. Let's look at the reality of under Florida DeSantis's time. It's number one in the country for homeowners insurance. We are the most expensive place for homeowners insurance. Auto insurance, we're in the top 3 states for the most expensive auto insurance. Average salary and wages, Florida is 40th for the average salary and wages. Affordability, according to Wallet Hub, Florida is the last. Florida is 50th out of the 50 states. We are the least affordable state because of Governor DeSantis. And you come to South Florida, we're even higher than everybody else, is even worse. Florida is the number one. South Florida is the most expensive place in the entire country to try to rent. Percentage of rent that needs to go to pay, of your income that needs to go to pay rent, is a huge, huge chunk. Comes to education, we are 50th in the country for teacher pay. Governor DeSantis loves those $2 billion plus that go to those charter schools, those vouchers, taking away money from our public schools and hurting our public school system. By the way, those charter schools are all for profit. Wonder who owns them, Governor DeSantis. Anybody you happen to know? By the way, even former Governor Rick Scott, who I'm no fan of, criticized you on giving your Attorney General the extra $100,000 to teach at the University of Florida, a 2-hour class a week, because his $140,000 salary wasn't enough for him to live on. You see, any teachers in this state get $100,000 for teaching a full schedule, let alone 2 hours a week. He wasted how many hundreds of $1 millions on alligator Alcatraz that were not going to be reimbursed for the state. And then the other land in Destin, Florida, that happened to be a friend for 4 acres. The state paid $83.5 million for land that was purchased for $10 million. Your real estate buddy, Maury Husseini, who's the chair of the University of Florida, got that big interchange there in Daytona, Volusia County, for like $100 million. They took money from other programs, $30-some million of state funds, and those Medicaid dollars you took. Yep. Where was affordability and all that, Governor DeSantis? What have you done for Floridians? Not much. Now you're worried about what you're going to do since you can't run for governor anymore.
For young adults, the traditional idea of success used to be very simple. Work hard, get a stable job, save money, buy a home, and build a comfortable life. But right now, that idea is fading away as people are entering the workforce and realizing that even with a stable job, the numbers don't just add up. Because right now, rents keep on climbing. Home prices, they feel impossible. Insurance costs are becoming a major burden. Grocery bills that used to be manageable are now taking a larger part of someone's income. Healthcare costs can turn one emergency into a financial crisis. And when all this is happening, the wages aren't keeping up with the high cost of living. And this creates a lot of frustration because people are doing everything right the society told them to do. They're working hard, they're being responsible, they're saving money, but they still feel like they're living in a survival mode, Right now, young people are giving up on the idea of ever owning a home. Some are delaying to start a families, or even some don't even want to start a family anymore. And some are even moving away from the places they love because of affordability crisis. And the Florida residents, they voted for Trump and the Republicans, hoping for relief as per the campaign promises to lower grocery prices, gas prices, make housing affordable and lower inflation. Instead, life is becoming impossible for every person. People are not asking for luxury. They are asking for a realistic chance to be able to own a home, pay their bills, and build a stable life. Because if a place becomes too expensive for the people who have lived there, build their communities, something has to change. Because a strong economy is not only about growth numbers or even corporate profits, it's about also whether the ordinary people can be able to afford life there. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.